Awesome. So want to appreciate everybody for coming. I'm going to quickly just talk a little bit about what our group, hopefully everybody can see my screen here. Just let me know, Derek, if you can see it.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So this is the Passive Investor Virtual Meetup. Hosts are James Kamasami from Achieve Investment Group and myself, Trevor Thompson. And so here's the agenda. Start at 7:30. It's a 1 hour virtual Zoom meeting. Use the chat to tell us about it. About a 20 to 35-minute presentation Q&A, and then we'll have networking. It's free. We do send out recordings if you can't make it. So always feel free to invite anybody that comes. And this is the big long disclaimer that says we're not selling you anything and you need to get all of your advice yourself. So Derek, you should be able to present. And so I put you in co-host mode.
Okay, cool. If you're ready to go, I'll just go
I'm
ahead and start.
Ready to roll.
All right, cool.
Have some fun and learn.
Thanks, guys. So really appreciate you all coming out, and hopefully you'll take away something great from this. What I was talking about a little bit before, while some folks were coming in, is a lot of people talk about building internal systems for yourself to be more efficient, but it's very undefined as to what that really means, because everyone is different. They all have their own ways of running their business or managing their life, or doing both at the same time. So the whole thing that I want to do today is I want to show you what I'm using right now to be able to essentially travel the world as a digital nomad, fit in a 500 unit portfolio and management of that in only 2 to 3 hours per day, using one VA. And my one VA is doing all of my podcast production, all of my social media, all of my accounting and asset management backend stuff for the 500 units. And all of my investor communication, and also projects as well. And we have that because we've got efficient systems and communication processes and tracking systems and reward structures and incentives for them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick preview about it, so that you can start no matter where you are. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And before we do that, I'm hoping that this is going to be a more interactive session. So if any of you guys have any questions, please ask it so that we can get it squashed right then and there, because most likely, if you have a question, someone else also has one as well.
All right, so for that end, I'll just unmute everybody or give them the option. Oh, I went the other direction. Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's all right. But yeah, so if we hear any background noise, then we'll just unmute people. Or what you could do is raise your hand. There is a feature, I believe, that you can use in Zoom where you can just raise your hand, and then I will see that pop up, and then I'll just ask you the question or type it into the chat.
It's on reaction, so I just did it.
Yep. So you guys, do you see my screen right now? You should.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So first thing is we want to answer the question as to why in the heck would you want to streamline your internal processes? What's the whole point of that? And then what we're going to do, because it's the biggest concern that I hear from most people, is emails. How do I get control of my emails? And I love emails because it is the primary way that people still communicate right now for snippets of information back and forth, no matter what industry you're in. It seems to be the standard. So we want to use emails as a centralized hub for you to start to delegate and to task out your life, okay? There's other apps that we're going to talk about that will tie in, but your email is going to be the central way that you communicate out with the world and external vendors. And that's why we want to talk about it first and get it under control as the first thing. Then I want to talk about a little bit about calendars and time control, and then we'll go into tasks and how you can start creating tasks for yourself and build in a system that will make the task delegation seamless to a VA, okay? So we'll go ahead and do that. And then after that, we'll do a Q&A. So I'll try to move through this as efficiently as possible. So give me a second here. Oop. Okay, so the first thing is why? Why would you do this? Well, we live in an attention economy, right? If you're able to control your attention in whatever it is that you're working on, you will be able to control your energy. And energy is everything these days, right? There's always people that are trying to email messages coming in from all over, right? You've got videos. I can guarantee you that probably half of you or more are probably multitasking right now as we are on this Zoom call. That's just a fact of life. I know that, and that's just the way that it is. So it's an attention economy. If you're deliberate and intentional about your priorities, then you're going to be able to control that energy to the creative spaces that most add value to you and your organization. So if you have a system that will be able to make it easier to delegate and systematize and have everything be completely organized automatically when the email comes in, that's what we're trying to do. And I know it seems really basic, but if you go to your computer or you go to your phone and you pull up your emails and you see that you've got 100 emails a day, or sometimes it's like thousands or tens of thousands of emails, and you just don't even bother checking, the amount of control and the ease that you have in your mind, if you can get to inbox 0 and have everything categorized and sorted and put into folders for you automatically, is just, the difference is night and day. The anxiety level goes down, and you have a place to actually collaborate and start to think about delegating tasks inside your email once it's already in line and in order and clean. Okay. So emails. I have a specific email inbox, and I'm going to be talking specifically to those who use Gmail, but there is, things that you can do in Outlook that I wish I could cover here, but I can't because there's not a lot of time. And you'll see why in just a second. But basically what I have is a priority type inbox, or the view. And I'm going to show this to you in just a second. I'll share my screen. You can take a look at my email inbox. What I do is I remove the important flags from Gmail, just because it clutters up the screen space, and you don't want to do that. And I would like you guys to just keep it simple and keep your priority type inbox like a task list. Okay. Then we will create filters. In Outlook, you use rules, but you can then use thoughtful labels and folders to have an email, when it comes in, automatically get a filter created and being marked as read and filed away in a specific folder before you even look at it. Okay. So there's a lot of ways to configure this, and this is what works for me. But the main idea is to just get yourself organized on your email so that it's very clear what's coming in. And when things do come in, it's automatically sorted. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up my email inbox right now. In just a second, I'm going to drag it over here. So you guys should be able to see this. Can you see it? Okay, so this is what my email inbox looks like. What it is I have a whole bunch of starred emails at the top. Okay, these are all things that I need to take care of. And then I have an unread section down here for new items coming in. And then I've got everything else. So everything else in this section here, you guys, is pre-sorted mail. So when I get an email from Crexy, for instance, right, a lot of you guys will just have it sit right in your inbox right when it comes in. I have a filter so that when the email comes in, it's automatically marked as read and marked as broker communication, because it is a broker communication type thing. And I use that for some other stuff too. Like here, for instance, is another broker communication email. Okay. The reason I do this is because I want my attention to be on there on purpose. There's a possibility that I might miss something. So that is a downside to all of this, is that as stuff comes in, it gets automatically marked as read and filed away. But the great thing is that if I have a question, or if I want to intentionally look for something, let's say that I'm looking for, I don't know, Louisville or Lexington real estate, right? I can type into my inbox. Well, first, what I'll do is I can go into my broker communication tab, and everything in here is broker communication. And once I'm in here, I can search for Lexington. And here you can see everything in the last month. I mean, look at these emails, guys, like all of this. So you should be using your email inbox as a reference library. Okay. It should be used as a tool. So that's what I'm encouraging you to think about. And the reason I'm spending so much time here is because this is a philosophy shift. Okay. And there's a very easy way to set up these filters. All you got to do, and I kept these deliberately unread and unmarked in Gmail for a reason so that I could show you guys. What you do in here is you click this email. It's very easy to set up a filter so that once you take care of one email, everything that meets this criteria in the future or in the past gets fixed to this new filter that you have set up, right? So let's say, since I signed up for this accounting software just to give it a shot, what you can do over here is go to the top and say filter messages like these. When you have filter messages like these, you'll see that there is a little like a little search bar that comes up that shows all the previous emails that look like that, right? So all you do is you create the filter. You can mark it as read. I'm going to apply the filter as other tools. And I'm going to say also apply it to one other conversation, create the filter, and that's it. Anytime an email comes in from the Wave team, it's going to be automatically marked as read, and I'm going to have other tools. It's going to be flagged as other tools. That way, if I want to go look at other tools that I flagged before in the past, I can go do that, or I can search for the Wave team, right? And so the same thing, you just go through this, right? And just do this process. And it seems like it's very tedious, but I think it's very much worth it, because you can have an email inbox from like 1,000 emails go down to like 20 unread in an hour by doing this, because you'll see a lot of repeat offenders where you can do this over and over again. And so it's just a really, really nifty tool right there for this. So once you have these all sorted, now you're really starting to think about organization, having everything all in pre-select rules so that you can command where your attention goes. If it's something that you don't need to see right away, like a broker communication or these like email tools, then you can mark it as read, and then you know that it's there to search later. And as soon as you star something, right? Once you star it, it will go straight up to the starred section. And there's a mindset that comes with this, guys, because every time you look at your email, you'll have a starred email waiting for you. And that list is like your task list at the top. And so it will prime you to see this every time and just get it done, right? Whatever it is you need to do, just get that work done. Okay. So I'm going to pause right here. I saw a question. I think it was from.
It was from Simon, and I'm trying to figure out how to unmute him.
Simon, if you want to type your question to the chat, maybe that might be the easiest way.
I'm unmuted.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I used to use Unroll Me for just to kind of unroll the emails. And I think the first year or two it helped, but now it doesn't help. I mean, my emails are out of control. It's like I have over 50,000 unread emails, and I've tried to unsubscribe, but I'm like, man, this is just not a good use of my time.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point. So there unsubscribe actually has, I've been noticing this. Unsubscribe actually causes a problem, because when you unsubscribe, sometimes it subscribes you for other lists. I've noticed that. Because when you unsubscribe for something, they may turn around and like sign you up for something else. And it works, but if it's an email that you want to keep, but you just want to like keep under, you can mark it as read, and you just have to keep adding those filters as they come up. But honestly, guys, like I keep adding these filters, and I do it maybe for like 5 minutes once a month, not even that long. And my inbox is basically squeaky clean every day without any effort. And the emails that come in that are unread are really emails that I need to see, because I pre-selected the emails that I want to see right now, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So it's, you have to just use the native filtering that comes into Gmail. So it will take you some time to do it, but I can guarantee you, if you do this, it's going to be an amazing thing for you and your productivity. Lala, go ahead. It's kind of loud.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in the basketball game of my daughter. Sorry, oh my God. So this is on the Chrome, like on the web, or or on the Gmail app, or we have to do the Gmail app on the computer?
It has to be on your computer to set up the filters, but once the filters are set up, then they go through your app. Yeah, good question.
Yes, but the way that you do the filter, because I use my Apple, the mail from Apple. So I have to download like a Gmail application to my laptop in order to do that, right? Or I have to be connected on Chrome.
Yeah, all you got to do is go to your Gmail, log into your Gmail, your Google account, and go to your mail if it's a Google account, and just go to the native Gmail app and then handle it from there.
Okay, got it. Yes, it's a Google account. Thank you.
Yep. Cool. All right, I'm going to try to move through the rest of this. So once you have your emails all situated, that's one of the most important things. I was going to talk a little bit about calendars, but we don't have too much time here, so I want to be mindful of this. My main thing about calendars is that you should be really looking at trying to manage your time and not time blocking out individual tasks on your calendar and slide them along as you miss them, right? I know that there's probably a lot of you out there, including myself, that have taken time blocks and said, oh, I'm going to read a book, or I'm going to work on this deal for this amount of time. And then you don't get finished. So you slide that time block out. And what ends up happening is you get blocks stacking on top of each other on your calendar. And so it's not efficient. So I don't recommend doing that. And I'm going to show you a system that's a little bit better if you can get behind it. And in general, I would like to also emphasize using Calendly and Doodle as well to help make scheduling automatic. So if you're talking with people on a regular basis, make sure that you have a regular block of time set up or clear open in your calendars for when you want to stop talking with people and have time open to have conversations. Use that in Calendly. Let Calendly handle all of those automations. Okay. And so I just want you to be able to control your availability by using your calendar directly. And if you use time blocks to block your time on your calendar, it's going to block that time for other people to be able to reach you. And the main thing that I want to say about calendars, it's not mentioned here, is that when you're working your calendar, you should have at least half of your day dedicated to yourself. So for me, I have no calendars appointments set up in the morning. So before noon, no one is talking to me. That's my focus time. Okay. And so I'll show you in just a little bit, like how this can combine with tasking to help make this like supercharge your day. And so let me go ahead and show you my calendar. So here is my calendar for today. It's really big, right? You can see all that. And so you can take a look. Let's look at next week. Let's look at this week. So you can see here, this is a couple weeks out. This is my typical week, okay? You can see that I have individual blocks of things that I do in the morning that's part of my miracle morning routine that doesn't change. And I have them set up this way just because it's my time. I want it to go on my watch, and my watch can tell me when it's time to do things. So I'm organized in that sense. But you can see that most of my calendar is on purpose, no meetings before noon every day. And the reason that I do that is because I want to keep that focus time for myself. And then in the afternoons or in the white space, that's when people can either book time with me or I can work on my tasks. And you notice that there's no task blocks in here, just time sensitive things that need to happen because they're meetings with other people. Okay. Don't want to belabor the point, but I just wanted to show that to you. That's how I manage my calendar. And so without the calendar, with the calendar, I want to also go ahead and show you one last thing about tasks. I think that everyone needs to have a single centralized go-to place for your tasks. One place to put everything. Well, it can be Evernote. It can be a piece of paper somewhere. I don't recommend that for sure. Or it can be Google Tasks. It can be something. But you need one place to be able to put your tasks and one place only to do it. Okay, it can be even what was it, Todoist? It can be any of these other apps out there. But what I like to do is I like to prioritize these tasks by date, category, etc. And then I want to also have the ability to easily access this app or whatever when inspiration hits me, so I can say, oh, I got to remember to read this book or do something like that. So you got to have a centralized place to track everything. Okay, and when you are looking at putting this together or picking the app for you to organize all these tasks and for yourself, you got to keep in mind delegation. So eventually you're going to have virtual assistants and potentially team members, at least even in your personal life. You should keep that in mind. You might as well pick a tool that you can help have a part-time VA step in to help you do recipes or to take care of, things for birthdays for other people. That eventually is going to happen for you if you guys keep listening to these calls. So you might as well set that up right now. So keep delegation in mind, which is why I use Asana for all of my stuff. So this is Asana right here. Now, the reason I use Asana, guys, is because I have a very integrated way for me to work with my virtual assistant. This is my board that I use to work with my assistant, okay? So anytime I want to have a task, I can either add it manually here and just start typing in a task, and then simply delegate it to my assistant or my team right here. Okay. Then you set a due date. And when you set a due date, that gives accountability. You also have the ability to create tasks for yourself, which is me. And I prioritize by the due date. So if there's something that, for instance, this prepare taxes, I'm probably not going to be able to get that finished this Saturday. So if it's something that needs to move out to a future date, then I just change the due date to later on, right? And once I change the due date, then that's it. It moves down the list, and you can see what type of things need to be done on a priority basis. And these are the things, guys, that I tackle in the white space that are in my calendar, in these spaces. So instead of putting time blocks, I'm using Asana. And then one thing I forgot to show you too is that while you're in here, a really cool thing you can do is you can import tasks from your email into Asana. And this is how this whole thing ties together. So for instance, if I have this task right here, right, I can just open up Asana, and essentially I can create a new task. And let me just go ahead and say, this is going to be due. Let's say I need to do something here. I'm going to say, I'm going to do follow up on this list or something, right? Follow up on list. As soon as I hit create task, it's going to go back over to Asana, and then I'll show you what it looks like over here. So let's see here. Follow up. There it is right here. So it's right here. It was just, I couldn't see it. It was right down here. So here it is, right? And then it's got the email embedded right inside here. If I wanted to have my VA do it, right, or do something, I can change this due to him. And I can say, I want the due date to be on next week. And I can type a comment in here and say, please take care of this for me. And I can type in more instructions here and then hit comment. And then anytime he has a comment or has a question, it's kept inside of this task. I don't have to go all the way back to my email to manage the conversation here. It's all in here. And then you have the history of when the task was created, when it was assigned. And so you can basically get some good clarity and then track how well your virtual assistant is doing. Okay. So that's the crash course. I tried to run through it as quickly as I can, and I wanted to leave a little bit of time for Q&A, and I apologize if it seems disorganized, but I wanted to have a little bit more time to do this, but I also value your time. And so I want to open it up for questions to show you, like, this is the fundamentals of what I do. Trevor also knows that I have like systems with transcriptions and AI and social media content generation, but this is the foundation that allowed me to create the time and the energy to think about what I'm doing for creating those systems later on. So hopefully that's useful. So Trevor, I don't know if you wanted to add anything onto that.
Yeah, does anyone have any questions? I don't know if you can unmute yourself. I thought I had it where you could, or just raise your hand. and then if we want to get to the AI, because I know that's huge right now. I think that might be worth taking. We definitely did really well on time.
Okay.
Whose mind is blown, by the way, how I mean, I still got pieces of paper. That gives you an idea where I am in the generational scheme of things. Who's got pieces of paper? Come on, confess. All right.
Oh my gosh.
I used to have a guy work for me. He had to have between 50 and 100 Post-it notes. And they moved up and down on a whiteboard depending on what it was. It was amazing. So Alice, can you unmute yourself? Yep.
Hi, everybody. I have just a very tiny little question. Your Gmail, it looks amazing, very well organized.
Thank you.
One, how did you put the colors on the labels?
Yeah, let me share with you real quick. Good question. Very simple. It's kind of a hidden feature, so here's this. If you just go to the 3 little dots right here, you can choose the label color.
Oh, so
because the labels
exactly what you showed me, but I couldn't find the color.
Yeah,
awesome.
So the labels show up here, and so you can be really much more creative than me with the colors, but it will help make your life really easy. Like you can color like investor communication or investor type stuff with like a bluer color, and then like maybe automated team stuff as like red, podcast, things like that. And you get to really choose how you want this to look. You can make any number of labels, and Gmail makes it super easy. And I feel really bad for the Outlook folks because every single rule that you set up in Outlook, it takes like 30 seconds to set up. And so it takes a longer in Outlook. So this is way better with Gmail, but it's still possible to do it with Outlook and also get this same type of like setup here on this. There's also, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, it's Tate. I was going to
Hey.
ask you about Outlook in particular. I use the Mac Mail platform, which just allows me to integrate like, my Gmail and my GoDaddy email accounts into one platform. I don't think I can do that with the Gmail platform. I could be wrong about that, but what are your thoughts on managing that when you're not dealing with just Gmail email addresses?
Right. Yeah, no, that's a good question. I know that Outlook has a way to do it. So if you're using Apple to integrate all of your clients, I need to look into that because I'm not sure if Apple Mail, like that mail handler, gives you the ability to do stuff like this. I know that it allows you to flag stuff and mark it as unread, but those are all features that are native to the individual platforms where your accounts are. So I don't recall the ability that, just like Lala's question before, when she was at the basketball game about she's using the Apple Mail, you may have to go back to the native version, Tate, every once in a while, just to set up the filters so that it goes through to your Apple handler. So you may have to log into.
Go back to Gmail.
Yes.
And or GoDaddy, set up the rules there.
Yes, just once, right? Or twice.
And I think Apple will have all the groups there. It'll show all the groups. And I think you probably don't even have to open up Gmail. I think it should put it in the right groups.
Will it allow you to filter it though, automatically?
It should get filtered via Gmail and get put into the right folder.
Yes. I'm just wondering if there's a way that you can set it up with the Apple inbox.
Oh, set it up within Apple? No, you'd have you'd have to go to Gmail to set it.
That's right. So Tate, you'll just have to log in once or twice, to the Gmail, the actual Gmail client, and then the results will filter through to the Apple Mail. It's just you have to set it up in the native Gmail. You can't do all this on mobile because it's too much. Like mobile isn't meant for this, but on the actual, you have more flexibility and power on this. Oh, I forgot to also show you all. If you go under the settings, you can go under inbox here and just select priority inbox and just make sure that the starred section is up here and then the unread section's there. Then you don't need anything else. Or you can add important, but I turn off the important flags because they crowd everything. And yeah, that's all you need to do.
Awesome. Alice, can you unmute
You can
yourself?
even put categories in here. Like I can even put stuff for if I want networking and masterminds to show up as a label under starred, unread, networking and masterminds label, and then everything else. So, and then separate sections right here. See? Okay, go ahead. I don't know who asked
Alice
first. Was
is
it Alice? Yeah. Go ahead, Alice, if you can unmute.
No, I texted. You would literally answer my question.
Oh, perfect. Okay,
Perfect.
great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Cody?
Hey guys, great stuff. Appreciate the insight. Quick question, your far left side tab that has like your social media accounts and your Gmail tab, is that part of Gmail or a different app? Yep,
All this stuff? Yeah, no, this is part of Edge, Windows Edge.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
The reason I use it, sir, is because Chrome took up a lot of resources on my little laptop. And so Edge is a little bit more efficient with memory. And so I can have all these tabs open. And it's really cool because you can collapse stuff, into these are all windows, right? Like these are all things. And so I can just collapse them, right? So instead of having a million on the top, I can have them collapsible along the side, which is really cool.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yep.
Awesome. Bill?
Yes, I got two questions here. The first one, like you have starred section and a group and an everything else group. Is there a way to select everything in one of the other groups, like the everything else and only so you can delete them?
Yeah,
Do
you
it one at
could.
a time.
I think you can. Let's see here. You can select all, and then you can uncheck the starred.
Yeah. I've done that. I didn't know there's a simpler way to just do
Yeah.
one group.
There might be. There might be something, but at the moment I'm not aware of it because I haven't had to use it.
Okay.
But archive all visible items. That's interesting. Show more messages. Yeah.
Okay, then the second question is, I see you showing the labels there in the inbox. How do you do that?
This is automatic.
On the right side.
Oh,
the
over
inbox?
here. These, right?
No, in the actual, in the middle there. You have your
Oh,
email
here.
and all the labels that are, and colors are showing, yes.
Yeah. So as soon as you apply a filter and get a label on, it's going to show up here automatically. So for instance, this one, right? Like this one, I'm supposed to file this report. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a label. I'm going to call it active properties, right? And actually it's for Aspire. So I'll do that. And as soon as I hit apply, the label comes right up.
Okay,
So a filter will do that for you.
awesome. Great stuff, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Just a little bit of email inbox. But I think the main thing, guys, that I want you to take away from this is that if you can set yourself up so that you have tasks that come in, right? Like let's say, for instance, this actually should be something that I need to work on. So I'm going to make an Asana task so that I can work on it later. And I'm just going to call this, actually, it's already been created. So we just created. I can unstar this now because it's moved over to Asana. Like it's now part of my long-term thing. So any on your starred, it should be something you can take care of information or later on. It's something that is you can only finish it by responding via email. That's the idea here. So this probably shouldn't be here, and that shouldn't be there either. Yeah.
Awesome. Timothy?
Yeah, so I had a question about like your CRM and integrating that with your Gmail. So currently I have like a alias email for my business and it all just flows right into my email and it's kind of a mess. To separate those out to differentiate what's coming through your CRM versus what's coming to your personal email?
Yeah, so it depends on what CRM you're using. Active Campaign, you can set it up so that it's looking at communications with individual investors or contacts through Gmail. And so if you pull up a particular customer record and you send them an email via Gmail, it'll show up in your CRM and vice versa.
Gotcha.
So I think it's just dependent on the CRM that you're using.
Sure. I've been using HubSpot thus far. And so it's all flowing through the same email, but it does get pretty messy.
Yeah. Good question. I don't know I don't know as much about HubSpot, but I know that there are CRM tools out there that do that a little bit more elegantly.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And Derek, I know you're not a Outlook guy, but does Asana work as friendly with Outlook as it does with Gmail?
It does. I checked it before. There are plugins. So you can install plugins. I don't know exactly how it looks because I haven't done it, but I know that it is possible. So if you wanted to, like there's a little button at the top, most likely, so that instead of flagging it, you hit that button and then I assume a little window pops up that allows you to bring it into Asana. And the other thing I'm selling short on Asana too is like there's an awesome app on the phone. And so when you have it, like it looks a lot like this. And you can see it's like a list of things, like pretty much the same as what's on the screen here, but it's just in mobile form. And if you guys can see this big red button here, that is the big red button you push if you have an idea. And as soon as you click that button, it brings up a new task and you can jot down whatever your thing is that you want to do later on, pick a due date for you to look at it or something. And then that's the genesis of you being able to delegate that task to someone else or for you to process it and do something more later on. But the idea is no matter what you do, if it's Evernote, if it's Todoist, whatever it is, keep it in one place. Yeah, Microsoft Planner, I hear it's pretty cool too. But yeah, whatever you do, just keep it in one place and make sure it's easy. The friction between email, and whatever your task your task tracker is seamless, and then bonus points for you to be able to loop in extra members of your team to that same task tracker. So you can keep track of who's doing what, right? And even if it's just yourself.
All right, so we have someone who agrees with me a little bit of talking about the AI stuff, because I know you're excited about it, and I've just started looking into it, and it's blowing my mind. It really is.
So let me do just a couple things. Well, the first thing is, let me show you what I've been using right now for content generation. So in order to, and maybe even for social media. So for my social media posts, right? All I got to do is I'm using a tool like Otter AI for every single one of my calls. Okay. So anytime I turn on a Zoom meeting, there's a transcription and an audio recording of the background. That's just the way that it's set up for me. So that's a tool that you can turn on. So any Zoom call you have, you've got the transcription. So you can look here. This is what Otter AI looks like. And these are all the calls that I've had, in the last, like you can see there's literally lots of them. And so when you pick this up, it will give you an outline. So just think, you guys, I'm recording a podcast, okay? And a podcast is all here, and the transcript of the podcast is here, and you have this outline of what this is. Well, they have these really cool tools. I'm just gonna do this, right? I was using copy.ai, which is a very cool tool that allows you to do a whole bunch of different things. You can essentially, let's see, social media tools. I can do a Instagram caption generator right here. So I will put in these bullet points, or maybe I'll just come up with some bullet points for a post, right? And then I can choose a tone. Let me see, maybe witty. And I'll create content, and then it will basically pop up with a bunch of suggestions for social media content. So you got to think about your VA doing this for you, right? And so if they can take some of your podcasts, like as many of you guys that are in the GP world, maybe have been featured on podcasts, you can take some of your own words on other people's podcasts, run it through Otter to have it transcribed, and they can pull out certain timestamps or things that you said that you like, because on Otter, it breaks it out by speaker. It identifies who was talking at any one particular time, because it can sense the change in voice. And basically, as soon as you have a block of text, right? Let me actually get a more substantial conversation that may actually make more sense here. Let's do this one is with my wife and some mastermind folks. Let's see.
What was the name of the app that you were using?
Like this one is Otter. Oh, like it's OTTER, and it plugs into Zoom, so it can turn call you have. That's important, Trevor, if you're working with 506B investors. Yeah. So it's good to have that. So yeah, I can take something like this. Let me see. Oops. Let's do that. And then I will go into not ChatGPT, but copy AI. And then I'll try this again, right? Maybe I'll make an Instagram caption based on this text here. And so this is a really easy way for you to do something with this here. You can re-summarize words and things from other pieces of content. And then, there's other, like, as far as images, you can use Dolly and ChatGPT to help you come up with ideas too. So those are some other things. But honestly, like the best way that I do it is I will go in here, and I'm kind of like nervous to share this with you guys, because this is I hope that you guys aren't going to detract from sharing content. But what I will do, guys, is I will go through social media that I find online that I really like. And here's what I'll do. I will have a call with my VA, and I found this social media content online, or he found it online, and I will just talk through this with Otter on it, right? So as I'm talking through this post, he's going to take my points on my point of view on this post, and he's going to take the post, he's going to change the graphics around or emphasize certain things that I said on it, right? And then he's going to pull up the auto transcript, and then he's going to run it through copy.ai to come up with the text for the social media post. Then, because I will do like 5 or 6 of these at one time, then we're going to go to Hootsuite and we're going to so did I lose people, or does that make sense? Because if you think about my time involved in this, right? The only time that I have is can be done by him. Like, he can find stuff that I'm going to like online. All I got to do is have a meeting with him and just talk about this. It gets transcribed. The transcription gets run through an AI program that converts my written word or my spoken word transcribed down into an actual Instagram post. Like, just pretend that I actually said all this, right? Then here you go.
Now, would the end result be a video of you, or would the end result be you talking about a picture?
It's whatever you want. No, the end result would be that picture. My VA for this particular workflow would take that picture and reformat it, basically repurpose it. So he would take, because he's really good with graphics. So he would take this and he would like reformat it, right? He'd run it, he'd go into Adobe Premiere and he'd rewrite this and just make it look like someone else had written it, right?
Gotcha.
But that way, I'm squeezing, the only time that I have on my mind is once I see an image that I really like, I'll pull it up and start talking about it just right then and there. And then you basically, do the rest. And then, I have a lot of people in there that are talking about VAs, right? And like hiring out my VA. No, I don't hire him out, unfortunately, because he works 40 hours a week already and maybe more than that. But what I will say is that eventually you can get to a point, and we didn't have the time to get here, where you can create standard operating procedures where once you figure it out once with the person, with your VA, you immediately have them document that process by shooting a video in Loom or something. And then you basically, check over the work and make sure that everything is good. So for instance, this is how I have him update property financials. And so everything that you do on a daily basis, like this is definitely like something that organized people should do. But if you have an organized assistant, then you can ask them to build a standard operating procedure library for you. That way, if they need to be replaced or if you need to add people, and you need to do more of the same, you just have an SOP in place and you basically just link that to a task inside of the workflow to say, hey, finish doing these, right? Like, yeah. So that's how that works. And you can reference the SOP inside of the task that you have that you assign to them with the due date. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling on because it's so complicated.
I think you're blowing our minds. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And yes, AJ, it is similar to Jasper. Yeah, Jasper and Copy AI are similar, except Copy AI is a little cheaper, I believe. Yeah.
Awesome. Any more questions?
Yeah, last thing.
Yeah.
Chat GPT.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty awesome stuff. How many, I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I want to see how many people by show of hands has used Chat GPT or have seen it so far.
Seen it.
Yes. Okay. So like half of you guys. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. So Chat GPT is pretty freaking amazing. And I think it's going to change. So everything I just told you may actually be changing because of Chat GPT, right? So for instance, I'm sitting here in front of a blank screen, or like I'm just sitting here and I want to say, please give me 5 social media post ideas on investing passively passively with apartments regarding investor misconceptions when investing. Oh, yeah, it's because I think I need to relog in. So let me try doing this. So if you guys don't have any ideas, you can ask ChatGPT to create one for you. Or we can say, hold on, let's see. What else, what would you guys want to ask? Or Trevor on this. Maybe we can say, let's make it more entertaining. I'm gonna say, make these more entertaining. Let's see what it does. So I'm telling you guys, like, this is a total game changer. Probably people's jobs because of this. I just think that it's something that is a very powerful tool. Oh, and let me do this. Tell these from the perspective of a dog. That's pretty awesome. Look, they're using barking up the wrong tree, fetching, alpha dog. Yeah, it's just so good.
Hey there, quick question. Can you have this on your phone? Like, is there an app for this, or to do like a quick API? Because honestly, Siri is stupid. So can you invoke Siri to run this API to answer all my questions?
I don't think so. This is a beta, like this is just a research project that's currently free for anyone. I mean, like, I was literally last night, my in-laws were asking on the phone, they're trying to find a place in the US to move to retire to. They want to enjoy gardening, they want moderate climates, low property taxes, land with a view, affordable homes, good outlook for growth, and a safe place to live. And it literally spit out like some really great ideas. So all I'm saying, you guys, is while this is still free, because Microsoft just put a stake in this. I think it's like they put $20 billion to buy 51% of the company under conditions. Yeah, it's like this is probably going to replace Google and probably going to be a brand new, like the way that we search now. It's going to be like having a conversation with an AI, because each one of these is a separate conversation with separate context. Like, for instance, on our website, I wanted to refresh my wife's bio. So I plugged in her bio here, and this is what it spat out. And it's incredible. It's better than what she wrote.
This is also Chat GPT 3. Chat GPT 4 is going to be exponentially more sophisticated,
which scares the heck out of me.
Yeah.
So anyway, for those who haven't seen Chat GPT, you can use this currently to help do your job. And I was actually signed up for an email, like for this right here, to find AI powered email drafting through Chat GPT. So like, yes. And when you pair this with the power of your VA, it's just crazy. Like what you guys should be able to accomplish with little, you know, with a small amount of people or resources. It's just the world is turning into that with process. That's why I'm obsessed with learning about them. So any questions on Chat GPT, copy AI, or my content generation process? Anything else?
Nope. Simon?
So, I mean, you've blown my mind so far. It's awesome. Thank you very much, Derek, and thank you, Trevor, for putting this on. How do we learn more about that? You know about this. You said I'm so into this that I'm learning and doing everything I can to learn about this. How do we learn jump on this train and learn about this also?
What this meaning Chat GPT? or
everything that you're sharing so far.
Oh, yeah.
Jasper,
Yeah.
Copy II.
Yeah, guys, I honestly, I just scratched the surface because you should see some of the spreadsheets that I have and like the things I'm doing for asset management. It's just nuts. And I'm looking to license and probably sell them. So what I would do is I would just I would wait for my course to come out because I'm going to go through all this stuff in that.
When's that coming out?
We're shooting for right before we head out for our next destination because we're digital nomads. So we're heading out at the end of March. And so the goal is to get everything released and pre-launched by then.
Well,
I
sign
don't know
me
if
up.
we can wait that long, man. End of March.
I want to make sure it's good. And the thing is I find that goes with it because everything's going to evolve. Things change. And so what I want to do is grab the collective wisdom from all of you who are finding the best stuff. And then eventually make that part of the course also. So that's why I wanted to make my time to take my time to make sure that I'm giving you guys the best possible stuff that there is out there. So
how do we reach you when March comes around? I mean,
yeah, I'm gonna make a like a LinkedIn post on this. So if you guys are all on LinkedIn, just follow me there, and I'll go ahead and blast it out, so that you guys can all see that. I'm going to be really trying to make it known that that's out there before I start like doing paid ads and stuff. So anyone who organically comes in, I'll probably end up giving you a discount if you want to be like one of the pilot people to try it out before it actually launches, like do the pre-launch as the modules are coming out. Because I'm going to shoot everything in like a week, and then it's going to take some time for my VA to edit all of them. So it'll take like a month as things roll out. And so we can adjust things through then, and then also start adding people to the mastermind group and stuff like that. So
yeah, and
if anyone wants to be a part of
as
that,
well.
yeah. And yeah, again, like we scratched the surface. Like there's so much more with Slack and Zapier that like we didn't even touch. And Zapier is like that's my jam. So you just got to start thinking laterally, guys, of like what you think is a problem now is usually the things that you're doing over and over again, including creating social media content. There's no need for that, guys. All of you all have been on several podcasts before. You've shot video, you've written posts. There's tools out there to be able to take what you've written, repurpose it, stretch it out, make images. There's ways to do it all. So just encourage you to think a little bit before, before that, the course comes out.
This was mind blowing. I knew it would be great, and we probably not get to breakout rooms, but I think our minds are broken, so we don't need breakout rooms.
Okay.
Anyone else have any last questions or anything? And again, the purpose of this meetup is to provide value to our community. So if there are things that you would like to learn about, always feel free to send me a note, and we will do our best to arrange it. I try to find content that I think people will find useful. That's the goal of this group, right? To educate passive investors. But a lot of us are switching into the active, and a lot of us can use these systems just to make our lives better, which gives us more time to for either to invest passively ourselves or to have our deals be more successful.
Yeah. I hope that you guys have taken away at least one thing. And if there is one thing that I would take away from this, start with basics and get your email under control. You have no idea how much time and energy that's zapping from you. And once you get that under control and automated, you're going to get addicted. At least I did, to like trying to find ways to do things easier and quicker and automated. So start with that first, then work on your time, and then try to get like a task planner. And then everything else, once you have those basics down and you have a system that's easily flows through with your workflow, then we can start adding elements with Zapier, right? And your CRM, because if you have a centralized way that you're handling things, then things start flowing easier, and your VA doesn't have to ask you questions and doesn't have to email you every time they don't know what to do. It's all in one single place. And there's this place, it's a process that you do over and over again. So just one step at a time. It takes years to build it, and it will never, ever be perfectly done. But every single time you do it, you've solved the problem that doesn't need to come up again. anyway, sorry, I had to just say that as my last thoughts because I'm so passionate about
Yeah,
this.
no, this was fantastic. And again, there will be a recording that will get sent out to everybody. And I'll share it with you as well, Derek, so you can use it for your, and you know, feel free to reach out to each other. Keep supporting us. Our goal is, as I said, to try to bring value to you. So if there's a topic that you would like talked about, then you know, otherwise I'll have to just Google it or AI it or whatever now, get all kinds of topics. So again, Derek, thank you so much. I knew this would be fantastic. I've heard, and you've come a long way from even the time I heard it. So well done on adding some things. And I know this could be like a 4-hour lesson and we still all have questions.
Sure,
So
absolutely.
Want to thank everybody for coming out. Stay engaged on our Facebook page where we keep promoting things. And as always, try to bring value to somebody else, right? Go through your journey one hand forward, being pulled up, and one hand behind, bringing somebody else along. If we do that, we'll all get to a better place.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Trevor.
everybody,
Please
for
reach
showing
out.
up.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's great.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Derek. Have a good night.
Thanks. You too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Good stuff. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Job, Derek.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Derek.
No problem.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
buddy.
Glad to help.
Thanks, Derek. Thanks, Joel. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.